Welcome back to Kicking It Real. It is Gabby. If you're watching on YouTube, hopefully the video is working. I've been really testing and trying to figure out all of the technical parts of this. So hello, sir. Frankie's also with us next to us. But we're working on it. So maybe this video is gonna work. But if you're just listening, all good. You're not missing much. I'm just hanging out in my sweatsuit, which I'm trying to get into the holiday winter season, but then I took Freaky on a walk. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Don't listen. I took him outside and I was literally sweating in this because it's 80 degrees. And I remember got dressed this morning thinking, okay, it's going to be warm, but you know what? You're in control of your house. You can keep it cool. Everything's fine. But yeah, I should have put a t-shirt on, but we're comfy, we're cozy. We're going to pretend it's cold outside. Although also I can't complain because I'm quite literally the one that said I wanted to live somewhere warm. Just, we're adjusting. But anyway, wanted to get into it. Today, I just wanted to talk about gratitude, just, with Thanksgiving, right here already at this point. But just how things in life oftentimes are disguised as setbacks or failures or rejections. And then it's not till sometimes pretty far into the future that you realize that they actually were none of those things and really happened for a reason, and you can look back and be grateful for them. So just going through some of those for me, and maybe it will relate to you, and how to just reframe those and just how to incorporate gratitude more into your life. Things that I've been doing that have been working and whatnot. But what I'm kicking it with this week, we're keeping the tradition going. I'm trying to live in the happy moments more. So what I mean by that is when I'm feeling chaotic or overwhelmed or stressed or whatever it is, those things happen, but then when I'm not living in it more, I don't know, bringing more happiness into life. I've been on this kick of productivity and wanting to get the most out of everything, which is all good and it's great, but then it's just well, where's the joy? And once the joy is not there anymore, it just affects everything else. So basically just trying to find the joy in everything. What I'm kicking to the curb, this is a little bizarre, but entering situations with preconceived notions, more social situations, of how another person is going to be or act. So what I mean by that is I'm trying to find a good example, but when there's a person, maybe it's just a coworker or something, and this is about none of my coworkers, they're all lovely, but if you have a coworker who is typically complaining or venting and always has something negative to say about whatever it is in their life, for me, I would find myself going into the situation kind of stressed, guarded, oh gosh, here we go again. I don't want to deal with this and they're going to complain. So instead of entering that encounter with that already preconceived notion about how the conversation is going to go, just remembering that I have control of the energy I bring into the conversation. And a conversation is two people, whether you're speaking or you're listening, it's still energetically two people, and just trying to take more control and guide in that way, instead of going into it when I'm already anticipating that this person's going to complain, it's not going to be good. Then your energy is just you're already meeting them where their energy is, versus wait, I have control, I can do this. So that's me kicking to the curb. So we're in control. We're not letting what we think is going to happen affect how we go into a situation. So I have a list, getting into the meat of everything, of things that sucked in the moment, and some are more extreme than others, and why I'm grateful for them now, and how I am now able to reframe them when even in the moment it's really, really hard to see. So my first one is, I'm starting at college. I'm sure there's plenty that I missed. It was actually kind of hard coming up with these, and I think it's because, one, I'm pretty sure I have short-term memory loss, but two, because most things that have happened in my life, I now know why, quote unquote, they happened, or don't think of them as setbacks anymore. I don't know. Or I think I also just black out bad things that happened to me. If you listen to the last episode about triple pirouettes, just blacked it out. So my first one is My rejection from University of Arizona. So when I was applying for school, I wanted to go for dance. I only applied at Western where I went and U of A, which I got into U of A like the school, but I think I was waitlisted for their dance program or just rejected. I don't even remember. But regardless, if I was on the wait list, I did not get in. And I felt like that was honestly like the start of my ex- extreme negative image of myself or like self-talk. I don't think in the moment I recognized that that was like happening or that was like a catalyst for me. I'm sure there were things before that as well, but that was like hard and I was like, oh, not good enough. And I think that pushed me back a little bit, but in hindsight, it kind of taught me to keep going, like perseverance. Like, okay, I didn't get in there, I'm going somewhere else. I think that took a little bit longer to like kind of come to that understanding because I think again that negative or like lack of belief in myself stayed with me longer than I would have liked it to. But I digress. So like that sucked in the moment. But here we are, and like also I think everything happens for a reason, truly. And I've some of my best friends ever are from college, and I would not have met them. And also, I got rejected from a reason. This will come full circle in a little bit, but like I got rejected from there for a reason. At that point in time, I was either not technically where I needed to be, or I just did not fit the mold that they were looking for, or whatever it was, which may be a combination of all of those. Like if I would have went there, I would have gotten probably eaten up like what is it where they like chew you up and spit you out or whatever. Like I probably would have stopped dancing because I would have been so discouraged because I wasn't ready to be a part of that program or whatever the case is. So, food for thought. My second one is, I guess, let me set the stage for a second for college. So, at Western, you go and you get into the dance department. You automatically enter as a BA, so Bachelor of Arts degree in dance. And for them, you have to apply to be a BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts, which I don't know like what I don't think it really even makes a difference in all honesty, like in the long term slash like college degrees are just like so different now where like jobs, do they even care? I mean, some jobs do, I guess probably my jobs don't, but you had to apply to get a BFA. And so I applied because also, yeah, just like, oh, you have to apply. Like you have to like be accepted to get it. So that seemed cool. They also did an emphasis on choreography as a BFA. That sounds right. Again, short-term memory loss, but like, yeah, well, they had their whole like senior show, whatever. So more emphasis on choreography and like, it's an ego thing. Like, oh, like maybe not everyone felt this way, but it's like, oh, you're a BFA, like you're really good, you're really great. Like that's how I thought of it because only a few people got accepted. But I, oh my gosh, you guys, man, I actually, I'm all over the place, the ADHD and the undiagnosed. My parents save everything. My mom saved everything from my childhood, and since they're moving, I cleaned out like literally like every grade, just bins of homework assignments. Like I'm talking like math homework assignments, like these like from kindergarten, like splashes of paint on a piece of paper, like that you don't even know what it is. Like she had that saved, but I found both of my letters of rejection from the BFA program, which they are in my box of things that like they're bringing up here when they move in a couple weeks. So I don't have it, but I will full circle back because I will read them. It's like kind of comical, I think, but regardless, I applied 2 times, got rejected both times. And like basically the premise of the letters, at least one of them was like you aren't good enough. You're not progressing fast enough. Like your modern technique isn't good. Like interesting. Again, you know me, I'm a big believer in talent being subjective within reason, of course. But like didn't get accepted into that, which also I was like not getting cast in things. Like I did not get cast in things. It was a modern based school. We all know we're here now, not really a modern dancer. But like didn't get cast, like therefore didn't feel close. I feel like I isolated myself from like professors from getting close to people because my ego was hurt, like I didn't get accepted. And therefore, I was like, you know what? I'm graduating early. After my second year of school, I don't even say like freshman, I do say freshman, but sophomore or junior because like I only went for 3 years. But my second year of college, after that, when I got rejected again, I was like, nope. Like I literally wanted to transfer. I was so butthurt. I was upset not having it. And I don't remember who said it to me, but someone was like, why don't you just graduate early and like be done? And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So that summer, I was actually doing the summer intensive at Hubbard Street. It was like a 4-week program while also I took both semesters of summer school and just like did all the like random electives I had left and I did all those. And then I just had a busier workload that last year. So I graduated after 3 years of school because I was like, I'm done. Like I'm moving on and I'm getting out into the real world. And I've always kind of been like that where I'm just like ready to keep moving and like keep progressing and keep growing in that way. But I mean, if I didn't do that, I probably my whole life would have been different. Like, or if I would have got accepted as a BFA, like that would have been reassurance in my head, like, oh, like I'm doing good because I was so stuck on external validation at that point. So I would have been like, yep, I'm good at this, like I'm good at choreographing, I'm good at modern, I'm good at all those things. And like that could have maybe made me stray away from precision, from jazz, from all of that because I was too, again, wrapped up in that external validation, and that could have put me on a completely different trajectory. And it also, like, just me graduating early, like, I'm stubborn for sure, but also, like, very determined and very, you're not gonna, like, tell me what I need to do or not do. And I think that was the first time in my life, other than, my petty high school fights with my mom or whatever, but I guess that did come out a little bit back in the day. But it was my first outside real world experience of, wait, I'm actually like really strong willed and stubborn and am not going to let people get in my way of doing what I want within reason, of course. So that's one, which also, in college, you can imagine everything's a big deal. Everything's way more amplified high school, college. So, or maybe it's just because I have some distance and it doesn't seem as big of a deal, but I'm grateful at this point. My next one on my list, we're going to keep on trucking along. Just Rockette wise, like they used to have a summer intensive and there was an invitational week where people in that week were like actually strongly considered to be hired. Like I'm pretty sure at the end of the weeks they always would hire someone or multiple people to like be in the company that year. So it was just like the week you wanted to get into. Like the last year I went to RSI, and maybe they had it. I don't remember the time. I think because it was like around COVID time. Yeah, it must have been the last one. I also was waitlisted for invitational. First time ever even like getting close. I was waitlisted. I ended up going, which I'm grateful for, but like I also got cut at all the auditions until I booked it. So just a combination. It wasn't, you know, as extreme as not getting my BFA, but I was constantly getting rejected for that. I was getting cut at auditions. And it's the same thing about the U of A thing where like I would have probably not probably actually, I would have been like eaten alive. That sounds so dramatic, but I just was not ready. Like I was not ready. And just because you like want something doesn't mean your body, your mind, everything is ready for it. But it doesn't mean you stop and you don't keep going if it's something that's really on your heart. Like I just believe that if something's on your heart, it's there for a reason. Whether it's that actual thing or working towards that thing is going to guide you to where you are supposed to go. But yeah, if I would have got it any earlier or done any of that earlier, I would have been probably way too discouraged to keep going. Or if I was not ready and like I got into those things earlier, you also don't want to like show up when you're not ready at your best self. I'm not saying like wait to go do things until you're 100% ready. Like I was still auditioning and stuff. So next one. This is actually, I was going to say controversial, but I feel like there's probably a lot of people that feel like COVID actually did a lot of good. And I do not mean to be ignorant to like all of the deaths and the things that happened. And it was a tragedy. So not taking away from it. But again, how can we make light of it? Like for me personally, like COVID changed the trajectory of so many things for me. When I actually will never forget when it kind of started. What was that? March 15th, 2020. I was in New York City for a precision workshop, and I think it was starting on a Monday. Someone fact checked me, but it was March 15th. If my timeline's correct, that was a Monday, and that was when the workshop was going to start. And I came in like Saturday, Sunday over the weekend to get there for the workshop. And it kind of like, it was St. Patrick's Day weekend. So there was like some buzz about things happening. I think maybe like the NBA had shut down. Like, things were kind of starting to shut down, but obviously no one knew the extent of what it was going to become. But so I was in New York. I was like, I can't get my money back. I'm going to do this. Don't care. And I went, and then that Monday morning, it was canceled, the workshop, because like the buildings were closed, like everything was closed. And the person I was dating at the time was like, I'm going to Florida to be with my parents. So I was like, okay, well, it's March and we all know how I feel about the cold. So I was like, I'll just go to Florida for a week with you, or a week or two, whatever it is. Why would I fly back to Chicago to sit inside in the cold and be miserable, whatever? So I fly to Florida. All the things happened with COVID. Obviously, we were there much longer than a week. But that being said, the virtual was born, like the virtual experiences were born, where again, I'm always a very big, like, in person is always better, especially for dance or for fitness or whatever it is. But like virtual was a thing, and that gave me access to things I didn't have before, like all the steps classes, all the BDC classes, working one on one with people. Like, you now, that was like the norm. It That was never ever a thing. Even like for Garrett, for his like finance job, he was traveling all across Manhattan to go meet people for in-person meetings. Where now I don't know the last time he had an in-person meeting, and now he only meets clients like, oh, they're in town or I'm in town, let's get lunch. Like, it's not even a business meeting half the time, most of the time, actually. So, like, that was really cool in that sense. But it also, like, gave me so much time of reflection. And then that relationship I was in ended in like October, November time during COVID. And I had COVID, which y'all heard about that if you listened to one of the earlier episodes. I don't know which one. Billie Eilish, shout out again. But that happened, and I would have none of like the relationship, the breakup, none of it would have happened how it would that way if it wasn't for COVID. And then like me sitting with COVID post breakup, literally about to open my Pure Barre studio. Not actually that soon, but like in the process of getting into opening a Pure Barre studio, and not having that time to like sit and reflect. So like COVID and the breakup itself like sucked. Like, I was miserable, terrible, sick. But if that didn't happen, I would have went through with the Pure Barre thing. I would have completely given up on dancing. And I don't even need to say more on that. We all know how wild and how great. Like, I literally wouldn't have even met Garrett, which is so wild to think. And just like the timing of that too, of like knowing when to move, because he had also just gotten out of a very serious relationship like a year before we met. And so like if I would have moved earlier, well, I couldn't have moved that like soon earlier because there was COVID, so thanks for that. But also, like, if I would have moved right out of college, like he would have been with someone else. And why on earth would oh my gosh, why on earth would our paths have crossed? I'm getting too excited. So yeah, like, even breakups. So just all that to say, like, when you're in a heartbreak and you're, whether it's dating or like really friendships, whatever kind of relationship it is, or heartbreak in a different way, like, there's a reason, hopefully, for you. The last one that I have that comes to mind, I really had to dig for the rest, you guys, because I blacked a lot out. But my being homeless in New York City for 2 weeks, which is so funny. I got into that story as well a little bit earlier already, but if you didn't listen to that episode, I had a lease situation with my roommate bestie, Grace, and we just had 2 weeks of like in between where she was back So I couldn't stay at, like in her room because she was in her room, and we like 2 weeks between that and then us moving into our apartment together. So like I literally had to ask Garrett to live with. I was so scared. I mean, I remember texting my mom and trying to think of all of like the other options that I had because we had met 2.5 months before that. So like that's very soon to get, into that kind of thing. Be like, hey, can I move in with you? Also, I was talking with Allie about this too. Interesting for another topic, but if the roles were reversed and he were to be like, can I live with you for 2 weeks? I'm in between places. I would have been like, that's weird. No, ick. But he was just like, yeah, sure. And I need to bring him on as a guest and like pick his brain about that because I'm sure he won't listen to this, so he won't know it's coming. But regardless, living with him for those 2 weeks, it was like a good, not test run, but living with someone. A lot of people say you should live with someone before you get engaged or marry them, and not that we got engaged anytime around that, but it was a good test of like, can we coexist together very early on? So like him seeing all sides of me and me learning his mannerisms, like what his work life schedule is like. I think that was really cool. And like in the moment, sucked, stressful. I mean, there was definitely a little bit of gratitude in the moment because I was like, thank God we found a place because it was just hard. It was a hard market just coming out of COVID, but grateful because I was like, whoa, this guy's cool. Like, I could do this. Like, he can deal with me. This is good. So those are my like gratitude reflections. I'm sure there are plenty more things, bad things that happened and that really sucked in the moment, but like ended up being better. Even just small things of like when you forget something or you forget to do something that's either really important or like kind of important, and then it sucks in the moment and there's maybe some consequences like right then, but then you never forget to do that thing again. Just like little things of like reframing in that way, which is also what I wanted to talk about, is just like ways that if you feel like you struggle like to be positive or like find gratitude, especially in hard moments. Like I also obviously am a work in progress and still am working on things, but I think I have a pretty good like, I don't want to call it a system, but I have like tools now that I I use to incorporate more gratitude daily in my life and just like navigating that. But for me, pausing when you're in both a state of like overwhelm, anxiety, but also in happiness and just being present, I think is really a game changer. So like example of on a day where I am trying to, finish the house task I'm doing, finish sending the emails, but I also have to like take Frankie on a WALK. I just spell it because he's sitting next to me, but I have to take him out. Then I'm running to work, like where it's just like chaos. Like sometimes, like the last thing you want to do in that moment is stop and take a breath. But like it is sometimes for me, like what helps my nervous system almost just like re-regulate and stopping and like thinking about something I'm grateful for in that moment. And maybe that's, I'm grateful I have Frankie. I'm grateful that I'm in a place where I'm doing a bunch of things that I love and I'm excited about. Like it's a good overwhelm, or like, my favorite one. None of this is that deep. Like it's okay. Like everything's good. No one's life is on the line. Everyone's fine. So like taking that moment to like pause and like take a breath and think about that is has been so helpful, and it's also helped me like live in those happy moments. My what I'm kicking it with is just like living in those moments a little bit more. And then also even in like the happiness moments, because sometimes when you're like laughing with someone, or you're visiting a friend and having coffee, or you're playing a board game with your family, like it's like almost sometimes I'm not present in those moments where literally taking it like it's almost like that concept of where you like step outside your body for a second and you're like looking in of like, whoa, like whatever it is, like I'm grateful for this. This is so amazing. I used to dream about doing this. I'm so happy that I have these friends to be spending time with, these family members, whatever it is, and just like actually taking in what's happening, because I feel like we just rush through those moments sometimes and then you miss them more versus like when you're in it, like just really being in it. I feel like that could be It's a top contender for my 2026 word. Top contender. We'll see. I don't know. I've been brainstorming that already, thinking too far ahead. But the next thing I like to do, like incorporating gratitude a little bit more, is same idea of reflecting, but here we go. Anyone guess it? Drum roll is journaling. Very predictable for me. But sometimes, like when I'm feeling extremely overwhelmed or lost or confused, a really good journal prompt that I like to do is just reflecting, like literally journaling about where I was like 1 year ago, 5 years ago, two, 10, like last month, whatever it is, like putting myself back in that moment and like what I was feeling, what I was worried about, what I was doing, who I was around, like, and then thinking about where I am now and whether sometimes maybe it's not like a direct comparison in the way of like, oh, it's so much better now. I'm so much happier, but there's has to be at least one aspect that's better or something that you had always wanted that you hadn't had before, if that makes sense. So like for me, an example would be, last year at this time, like I miss being on stage, I miss kicking, I miss being with my friends. And like you could look at right now and be like, oh, I don't have that huge community here. I don't have that movie star-esque life, but also I can sit here and be like, wow, but I'm in the warm weather. I'm spending so much more quality time with my husband. I get to experience the holidays with my family now. So like there's just ways that you could reflect on that. So again, I am very happy where I am, but I'm sure there's definitely moments in time, I'm sure where all of us can relate to where like maybe you do feel like you had it better a month ago, but you can still find a couple little things, to kind of help you with that. And then I don't do this every day. I do it almost every day, but not every day. But I can tell when I don't do it, or just daily gratitude lists. It sounds so silly, but I mean, I love a list. I love a list. But it just helps bring yourself back into that presence every day too. It's just like that practice of noticing things, because even on the worst day of your life, whatever it is, like maybe the sun was shining that day. Maybe someone got you a coffee and surprised you, Like there's just always something, and it's also just the lens that you're looking through. And I feel like doing it every day or as often as you can and getting like into that practice of it, it just makes you more aware of all the things around you that you can be grateful for. It's that I think Mel Robbins talked about it, but the like when you look for something or you like look for hearts or whatever, you look for yellow cars, you're like, there's not that many yellow cars, but then when you start to look for it, they're everywhere. It's that same idea of when, you're thinking about gratitude and you're actively reflecting on that all the time, then it's just like, I don't know, kind of becomes second nature to like rewire your brain in that way, which leads me into my last little point of this could be a whole separate episode, although this topic kind of gives me a little bit imposter syndrome because some like people do heavy work into like manifestation and things, and I am by no means an expert on this. And again, I say that I manifested things before I realized that I was manifesting, which I still believe in. But for me, that's another great way though that it's fun to practice gratitude, because when I like look back on my old journal entries and things, I have those, whether it's gratitude lists or like wishes for the future or whatever, and it's so cool to like look back on that, or even honestly just a journal entry. I've like journaled on days that have been really hard, and like it's not even sad. I was gonna say it's sad, but I don't feel sadness for that version of me, but it's just like wow, like yeah, it brings you back into that moment, and it almost brings you more gratitude because you were able to persevere and you made it past that hard day. But that's a little like deeper dive one for gratitude. But if you like really need to do it, you can like get into that, which I pulled out, you guys. I pulled out one of my old journals. I have another one at my mom's house that is with my BFA rejection letters that I need to like bring back to you because there were some real good journal entries in that one as well. But I have this one here at my house in Texas, And I did this thing for a while where I would write 10 things that I wanted to like have or be true in the 10 years. So like, and I would write them. I've said this in a lot of my like other content online, just writing things, your goals or your wishes as present tense. So like, I am a Rockette. I am what, well, I'm going to get into it because I'm going to read this list. This was September 4th, 2019. So what is that? 6 years ago. These are my 10. Reading them verbatim, a little vulnerable, but number one, I'm a Rockette. Number two, I am married to my dream man. Number three, we live somewhere warm. Four, 3 to 4 kids, parentheses, maybe longer than 10 years, which is fine. Five, so social media, quote, influencer. Six, well known in the dance world. Seven, lake house slash 6-figure household. Interesting. I really loved lake houses growing up. But anyways, 8, close family and friends. 9, still active in teaching and doing Pure Barre. And then 10, healthy lifelong habits. And I'm like, all of those within, like, some of them are a little more subjective than others, but other than a lake house, don't have a lake house, or 3 to 4 kids, which that one, I mean, I even specified longer than 10 years, but also, you guys, everything else has happened in 6 years, if not less. So, like, it's crazy, like, writing it down, and, like, another form of gratitude is just cool to see when you, like, put intention behind things you're doing and really believe in yourself and like dream big and do those things. It's like really, really cool to see what you can do. And that's also why I'm so happy I have those journals because it's so, so fun to look back on those. And it's funny because I have journals from like when it was like '08 were the dates, like literally 2008. And it's like, this girl at school said this to me, and she said this and I think this. It's just like one, hilarious because back then I was mostly just like reciting my days, which I had one, I'm sorry mom, I'm about to call you out, but it was like my birthday entry, and then I'm like, and then we had to go to the DMV, and my dad took my mom's license out of her wallet, and my mom got mad, and we went home and we were like dying. I already told her about it, and we're like, that's probably exactly what happened. Like, it's just funny to see, but some of them are really cute, and especially as I get a little bit older and like getting to look back into where my headspace was then. But all that to say, journaling has always been deeper rooted in me than I realized. It's a short-term memory loss, but it's just been a part of me, and it's been so helpful for me. And just because maybe you didn't grow up doing little random journals and lists and doodles and all the things, it doesn't mean you can't start now, but it's like a really cool like practice in that way. So that was, wanted to like bring some gratitude, bring some thankfulness into your Thanksgiving week. I am so grateful if you're here listening, if you're here watching. Your support means so, so much. I know I'm like working out kinks and doing all the things, but it's been really fun to like learn and grow. And I feel like I needed a long form like content platform. I have so many things to say, so it's really nice to be able to just like word vomit with all of you. So just remember to be kind to yourself wherever you're at on whatever journey you're on. I'd love to hear, like, I love connecting with you guys in the comments if you have anything that resonated with you, or like what you want to try, or like what you liked, whether it's manifesting, gratitude, whatever that looks like for you. But yeah, thank you guys. Make sure like, subscribe, share this with an episode with a friend. But I will see you next time. We can kick it real then. Thanks for coming.